Narcissistic and manipulative men are always looking for new ways to justify their bad behavior or excuse it. And one of the ways they do it is by waiting for you to make a mistake. Whether it was with them or without them, big or small, they keep it into account. They hold on to the mistakes because the second you try to hold them accountable for anything, they're not going to sit there and say, you know what, I'm sorry. You know what, I messed up on that and you're right, sweetie, I should have been better. No, instead it's going to be, well, look at what you did. Look at how you messed up. Oh, so you're perfect? Because that's not fair. Why am I even getting in trouble? The reality is they don't want to have to grow. They don't want to have to become better. So they're waiting for a moment to find out your vulnerabilities and your flaws to use it against you so that they don't have to grow or take accountability.
Sometimes manipulation manifests itself as guilt, confusion, and you feeling the constant urge to always make peace. A man doesn't have to shout to shrink a woman. He just has to get her to explain herself over and over and over. So here are a few things that men do when they shrink women and keep them small. He will exploit your empathy. Whenever you set boundaries to a man who's trying to exploit your empathy, he's going to perceive those boundaries as cruel, and he's going to perceive your tiredness as negligence. And that is because when you set boundaries for yourself, he is now losing a sense of control that makes him feel safe. You've now become unpredictable, and he doesn't really know what to do with that. When you start pulling away, he might act like he's hurt because that control is a safety measure to him. So now he'll start dumping all of his discomfort onto you, hoping that you'll clean it up. And if you are an empath, chances are you might feel bad for that and you might clean it up. The solution: don't fix the guilt right away. Pause and reflect on it and ask yourself, who benefits from my discomfort? It certainly isn't you. In most cases, guilt is not an indicator to fix anything. It's usually a sign that someone has now used your empathy against you, and now they're holding it above you as leverage. This next one I like to call performative remorse. It is when a man will apologize in the nicest way to you. He'll say the most poetic things to you and everything sounds perfect, but he never has any sort of fundamental change within him. He'll use his false charisma and his fake charm to make you forget about everything that he did. And once you forget about everything that he did, it all resets and it goes back to zero. What this is a tactic that is used to preserve comfort, not real accountability or real growth. Real change is measured in behavior, not in what they say. Guilt reversal is another manipulation tactic that men tend to use to shrink women. What he'll do is he'll dump his trauma onto you, completely deflecting from what you're telling him, and he'll make it about himself. And in turn, you might cradle him, coddle him, and soothe his discomfort and his trauma until yours ends up disappearing. You'll neglect your emotions, stabilize his, all while forgetting about yours the entire time. And that is how you shrink little by little. These are all forms of manipulation, and as you can see, it's not always obvious. It's very intricate and very sinister.
So men's number one manipulation strategy against women is love bombing, and I'm gonna make a video about it in the next video, how to counter it. But the reason why that's the number one strategy is because the way that you make a woman fall in love is not through her eyes, it's through her ears. It's letting her know how much you love her. It's letting her know how special she is. Get the fuck out of here. It's letting her know how you're the only one for me. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, right? And if you fall for that, that means you're somebody who's either looking for love or you're somebody who's an empath. And so you pretty much show your heart. You walk around with an open heart, and that makes you susceptible to men who are manipulative and know the strategy of love bombing. Love bombing, they'll tell you they love you. They'll give you flowers quick. They'll do everything that you want to. And as soon as they feel like they have you, they'll pull away. And then, like the junkie that you are, you'll start chasing them after them. And that's how they get you.
Manipulation tactics to use on a healed individual. Now, this is method 8 and a big one: fake jealousy. Now, why would you want to do that? Jealousy is a net negative emotion. Well, the thing is, a lot of people act like the key to keeping someone on your roster or getting what you want out of someone is kind of to make them feel unwanted in a way. When I would argue a very important part is to make sure they feel wanted, however, not wanted enough sometimes. There was this one girl who would not believe I liked her no matter how hard I was love bombing, so I had to find a different way to speak her language. And one fateful day, she brought up another guy she was talking to, and did I care about the concept of her talking to somebody else? No, because I was talking to other people. But did I care about the fact that she brought it up to me? Yes, absolutely, because I'm like, what game is she trying to play now? So flatly, I lose my composure. I show a little bit of emotion. I'm gonna give you guys a raw reenactment. I was like, why would you tell me that? She was like, what? And I was like, you think I'm doing this with you? I will leave right now. And she's like, oh my gosh, are you serious? I was like, yes. It's embarrassing, I know. I try not to raise my voice like that at people, but she really forced my hand. But anyways, by that exchange, she couldn't discern what I was actually angry about. So she was like, oh my gosh, Bryce, I'm really sorry. I won't talk to him anymore. I didn't mean to, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I started to realize how much power I was wielding. And she never again questioned me on whether or not I liked her. So she either A, felt like she was in the doghouse, and or B, that jealousy gave her all the proof she needed that I liked her. And ever since I realized that, I've been cooking up this method, and I've been in the field testing it.
This is how you manipulate your girl so that she never leave you. Let's go. If you do this shit, your girl never gonna leave your ass. I promise. It work every time. Every time. All you gotta do is encourage her to date men that's doing better than you. That's all you gotta do. You don't need to be with a guy like me. No, you gotta do better than me, girl. I'm no good for you. You deserve better. I don't want better. No, I want you. I don't care about that. Got him every time. You don't need to be with a guy like me. No, I ain't got no money, girl. You look how beautiful you are. You deserve to be with a man that got money. I don't care about money. No, I want to be with you. Got him every time. Work every time. You don't need to be with a guy like me. No, all I do is play 2K all day. You need to be with a real hooper that make money. No, I don't care about that. I love watching you play 2K. Got him every time. Work every time.
If a man reveals that he has negative dating habits, you might think he's being honest or transparent, but in actuality, he is setting you up for disappointment. If that man tells you that he used to be a cheater, he probably still is. If that man tells you that he doesn't call or text very often, well, that'll probably continue with you. When he exposes these issues to you, you're thinking, oh, well, he's being honest and transparent. That's a good sign. Perhaps he's working on himself, and I'm that special one that he will eventually change for. Do not make the mistake of thinking that because he's being transparent with you, that he's a good man, that he's working on himself, that he's trying to be better. In many cases, men lay their cards on the table just to see what you'll put up with.
What is one way men manipulate women to stay in relationships with them? Here is one way, so pay attention. He will make sure that this woman knows all about his past traumas and all of the reasons why he has trust and abandonment issues, and he will use these to make her feel very empathetic for him. If she is not empathetic, then it's not going to work, and he knows that. However, if she is, whenever he blows up on her, he will then start apologizing or even start crying to make her feel bad for him, so she won't leave him, because she's going to feel bad if she leaves somebody who has all of these abandonment issues as well.
How to manipulate women, part 1. Let's go. All right, cool. So you just been caught cheating, right? By your situationship or your girlfriend. Your first priority from this position, as you've been caught, it is to make her feel like it's her fault. You may be asking, Charlie, how do I do this? You need to gaslight her into thinking that the reason you cheated is because the other girl was providing stuff she wasn't providing. Bring up your girlfriend's faults, bring up the areas that she lacks in, and make her feel like if she had those attributes and did those things, that she could have made you not cheat. All the while, remember to keep reiterating, I love you, but you didn't do this. I love you, but do you know what I'm saying? If your girl's self-esteem is low and she's easily manipulated, this will work. But if it doesn't, we go to the second stage. Say on the off chance you break up. Let her have 2-3 days without you and then call her. Text her first and say, I need to talk to you for closure. Girls cannot resist closure. The word closure, that's their weakness, I'm telling you. Call her and remind her of all the good times you had together. Reassociate all of them warm memories back in her head. Be like, there's no reason why we can't have another day like that again. I need to talk to you in person. Let me come pick you up. Go pick her up. Talk more about the situation. Apologize, of course. We know you don't mean it, but just say it anyways. Then go do something so fun, like take her on the best day ever. Come to her with flowers and roses already in the car. Take her to wherever she wants to go and have a blast. By showing her the highs of highs again, she's going to reassociate fun times with your name. After she spent the last 2-3 days sad crying, now she sees you again and she's had a great time. Come on, she's going to love it.
Manipulator in the sense that I knew that I didn't want anything serious with this woman. And I knew she wanted something serious with me.
Right.
And instead of leaving her alone, I took what I could get out of it. And at the end of the day, when she was crying her tears, I could hide behind the fact that, hey, I told you what was up.
Yeah.
And that is the game plan and the strategy and the mindset that so many of us as men live by is, I told you what was up.
Yeah.
How can I be wrong if I'm telling you the truth?
I know how to turn on the perfect man. I can be God-fearing, celibate, the one that you want. I can tell you everything that you want in a man and show you that. I can open the doors, lay down the cloak, send the jet, do it all.
One thing that I don't think gets talked about enough, and that is a man's ability to become a chameleon for the kind of woman that he wants or wants access to. He will become Mr. Me Too. And that's why you don't want to do all the talking, because everything you say, he's going to say, me too. You like spoken word? Me too. You're a Yankees fan? Me too. You like sushi? Me too. That's why you don't do all the talking. You let him talk. Some of these men only say they want a wife and kids because they want access to the kind of women who only wants that kind of man. He knows good and well he wants to play the field until he's in his 50s or 60s, but he doesn't want the kind of women who also want that. They like convincing a woman to do something that she didn't originally want to do. They want to see if they can change your mind. They get an ego boost out of you thinking that you want marriage, but he done talked you into friends with benefits or a situationship, or something that you knew you never wanted. The same men who are so quick to tell a woman that she should have chosen better are the same men who will admit that they can be a chameleon and become anybody that you want them to be. And this is why discernment, or your ability to listen to your intuition, is so important, because even if that man checks all the boxes, there's still that nagging feeling, that little voice telling you, I know, but something about him isn't right. And if that's the case, run.
Ghosting you. He's conditioning you. There's a difference. Ghosting is when a man disappears completely and you never hear from him again. But conditioning is when a man strategically pulls back and doesn't call you for a few days because he wants to give you the impression that he has options or something better to do. That raises your anxiety, it triggers your insecurities, and makes you vulnerable to chasing his validation. Ghosting is complete absence. Conditioning is psychological manipulation.
This is how men manipulate you. You telling that man what you don't like about yourself. That man will give you so much confidence. That man will tell you that he like your hair, you fine, you pretty. You always looking for a man to tell you that. So you love that he telling you that. So you always want that man around, and you think he a good man, and you want to keep him around. So you loving that man every day. You doing what you can for him because you want him to stay, because he made you feel a way other men didn't make you feel. But you don't know what he's doing though. This man is building up your confidence so you can open your heart up. And once you open your heart up, you let that man do what he want to do in your life. Now that man can use you now because you gave that man the authority to come in your house, come into your life, and take what he want. You think you helping him, but he helping himself, but he using you to help him. I'm just saying.
This is how to manipulate a woman. Now, I don't think you should actually do this, but you're listening, so I'll tell you anyway. This is one of those tactics where certain guys who don't really like the girl enough to take her seriously, but still want access to her, especially physically, they understand that women are emotional beings and they crave emotional validation, approval, affection, and so on. Since he doesn't truly like her like that, it's hard for him to satisfy her emotional needs for commitment and connection, but he doesn't want to let her go. So what he will do is he will starve her of that affection, compliments, and so on outside of the bedroom, but inside of the bedroom, he will pour it on really thick. And then she will realize that the way that she can get the affection that she's looking for is inside of the bedroom, where he's only looking to give her that sort of attention. And with some women who crave this attention, they will be the initiators of intimacy because that is the only way with that particular guy that she can hear those affirmations and get those compliments and get that intense love that she seeks. Now, as I said, this could be toxic advice, and maybe you don't want to do stuff like this. But if you're a woman listening, now you know certain manipulative tactics that men will use, so you know how to protect yourself.
Dark love psychology. How men manipulate women to become obsessed with them. Here are 3 steps that they will take to look out for. Number 1, they search for an easy cooperative component, which is typically somebody very insecure, empathetic, and gullible. Then after they find them, they study them to discover what brings them pain and what brings them pleasure, which upon discovering, they will soon begin creating false narratives, pathological lies, and exaggerated and fabricated stories, so they can manipulate them to get them to think that they've been through the exact same thing and are feeling their exact same pain. They will also make sure they dispense enormous amounts of love and care, or will showcase this massive hopelessness in life and severe dependency on that woman to influence responsibility in nurturing, knowing it's in a woman's nature to nurture.
Manipulation tactics used on healed individual. Now this is method 3, the scared kitten method. Now this method is very high risk, high reward, so make sure you pay attention to exactly what I'm saying. 4, weaponize your mental illness. And I don't mean early on, I mean wait until they know you a bit and then open up to them. Do not use your mental illness on them, because that's the scared lion method, and that is much less ethical than this method. Basically just tell them, yo, I got this and it makes me struggle with this and this, and I struggle to cope with it. Just like genuinely opening up, just the same way you would open up to a friend, right? But also make it clear to them that you're making steps to improve yourself in this area. Tell them you're in therapy, tell them you're on medication. Even if you aren't, what, they can ask for a picture? Like, now I know what you're thinking, what if they leave though because I'm mentally ill? They won't do that. Everyone's mentally ill. If you're not mentally ill, you're not human at this point. You know what I'm saying? But also don't overdo it, because then that can get scary. But what this does is it already establishes that, you're on the struggle bus a little bit. Which leads me to step 2, utilize your trauma. Now, if you don't have any trauma, I suggest you find some. It is not that hard to gain access to. However, just hint at this trauma over time. Not anything overt. Just be like, yeah, this kind of happened to me, but do it from a detached sense to the point where it's not any overly emotional situation. You don't care about it that much. However, this thing did happen, and it is sad, 100% to them, okay? And they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this poor person, they've been through a lot. But again, you're not showing what this trauma has done for you, so you're getting all of the pity, but none of the fear. Now, this is perfect for someone who has a bad reputation. Honestly, it kind of helps a little bit. Now, not anything too crazy. Like, if you did some absurd stuff to people, yeah, you're kind of a lost cause at that point. But if they're like, oh, this person ghosted me, this person never really talked to me like that, they never took me seriously, it's not going to be a huge problem, because if that gets back to that person, they'll be like, huh? Or are we talking about the same person right now? Like, now at some point they're probably going to confront you with this information. You just got to fess up and say something like, look, I just really want connections with people, and I used to try to force that a lot, and it never ended well for either party. But that was just immaturity on my part, and I do regret it. That's kind of just why I keep to myself mostly nowadays. Now, this will make a healed person cream their jeans, because not only are you taking accountability for your actions, but you're also looking at it like, it is what it is. Something I get a lot is, oh my gosh, you're such a sweet guy. Why do you let people view you like this? I'm just like, I don't know. And I make sure I say it with pain in my eyes. This is when you imply heavy interest but never openly state it, because in their mind they're gonna be like, okay, I think I'm safe, but like, am I really?
Love bomb with attention, not affection.
It's very important that you don't try to defend yourself too hard. Don't go around like, oh my gosh, everyone's wrong, I'm a really good person, I promise. That's just you barking. That's the scared puppy method, okay? And nobody likes that. That annoys people. Elephant in the room. Why is it called the scared kid method? Think about a scared cat and what it does. When people come to pet it, it will probably run away. People just pick it up, it'll probably scratch and run away. People aren't gonna like that cat very much, right? Now imagine that cat approaches you, lets you pet them, cuddles with you, things like that. You're probably gonna like that cat a lot, right? And when people try to shit talk that cat, you're gonna be like, you know what? You guys don't know this cat the way I do. It's a perfectly good cat. It's just a scared kitten.
How I learned from a pigeon study how to manipulate women into dating me in droves. So when I was younger and I was a nice guy and women cheated on me and friend zoned me, I hit a dark point in my life. I came across a study about pigeons that was talking about intermediate and consistent reward system. I think his name was Skinnerd, but let me tell you what I did. I started dating women, and anytime a girl gave me a behavior that I liked, I would reward her. 100% of the time, she would behave properly, I would reward her. But I noticed that when I did that, eventually, only when they needed it, would they press the button for reward. So I cut it by half. Every time a girl did something, I would do a coin flip. If it was some good behavior that I liked, I would flip a coin. If it landed on heads, I would reward her. If it wasn't, I wouldn't. And what I noticed by just cutting it in half was the fact that women would obsessively obsessively go into that. But then I cut it by 30%. I used a percentage generator. I would type it into my computer, hit 1/3 and fucking see what happened. And they got more obsessive. So eventually I put it to 10%. Girl would do something correctly. I put it to a 10% possibility and I'd pop that into my computer. And if the answer was yes, fine. But most of the time it was no. And what I would realize is these very, very extremely hot women that most men would simp and grovel over just to get even a fucking look or a hi or hello or oh, you're cute, were obsessed, addicted. It was wired through them, coursing through their veins just for my fucking approval. Which reflected back on the study that this guy did with pigeons, and I still will resist saying that women are like pigeons. But psychology and coding and wiring is wired throughout all species on this planet. But most you guys constantly, and I mean constantly, reward girls for any type of little good behavior towards you. Oh, she likes me. Oh, I'm gonna just throw my entire life away. I'm gonna love her so much. But what that little study I did showed is if you control the odds, you control the woman. Now, granted, over time, I learned not to do that fucking shit, but it did teach me a giant core principle, which is this. You men that give everything to your women for nothing suck. Lesson learned.
Hey, I gotta put y'all women on game because I gotta be fair. This is some manipulation tactics that guys use. Number one, gaining your trust to determine your role. For example, a dude that just want to know your body count, he might say some shit like, oh, I swear I don't care about that. Whole time, twin, if you say anything above 15, he's going to determine your role. For some niggas, anything above 3. So just peep game now. Number two, selling you dreams. For example, a guy might say some shit like, hey, I can see you being my wife. You feel me? I can see this and that. Now, I'm talking about the early stages now. He just wants you to be attached to the idea of being with him. You know what I'm saying? So it will be kind of harder for you to see his flaws and shit, type shit. Number three, being that person to lean on. Now, this is kind of tricky because it is actual genuine guys out there that are actually your friends. All I'm going to say is if he doesn't treat you like a little sister, you already know what's going on.
Life promise you all of those things and then do the complete opposite.
Let's talk about it, ladies. Y'all go follow her. See, the thing is, ladies, they attack you emotionally. They go after your emotional vulnerability. If they know that they can get you, they will choose that and they will take advantage of it. Prime example. A dude can know that you want to be in a relationship, that you ready to have kids, ready to settle down, and they will base their whole manipulation tactics off of that. Oh, I know she wants to be a wife. I know she wants to be a girlfriend. So I'm going to do girlfriend and boyfriend things with her, but I'm not going to fully commit to her. But in her mind, I'm going to make her think that we're going to actually be something, which is only going to cause her to let her guard down more and fall in love more. They want y'all to be emotionally and physically invested into them because that's the only way that they can manipulate y'all mind. If they come after y'all mental and y'all strong, they can't do it. But they know in order to get what they want, they have to give you what you want, which they don't really give you what you want because it's all a scam and it's all a disguise. But y'all not gonna listen to me.
5 manipulation tactics men will use to coerce women. If he's doing any of these 5 things, he's not loving you. He's conditioning you. Number 1, he will manipulate your emotional responses by acting like your perception is flawed. Saying things like you're overthinking, or that never happened. This isn't care, this is calculated mental erosion calculated to destabilize your self-trust. Number 2, at first he's obsessed, intoxicating you with affection, flattery, gifts. Then abruptly he withdraws affection, making you chase the high. This is not passion. It is intermittent reinforcement. It's the same psychological tactics that is used in cults. Number 3, he will corner you emotionally. He'd say things like, if you really loved me, you'd do this. These coercive statements weaponize your empathy. What it does is it blurs the line between consent and compliance. Number 4, he'll mask control as protection. He'll say things like, I just don't trust them around you. He might even say, I know what guys are like. Now, it may sound like he's guarding you, but he's actually serving your support system to increase your dependency. And number 5, he doesn't yell, he vanishes. He stonewalls, leaving your nervous system scrambling for connection. This is emotional starvation. It is designed to teach you obedience through deprivation.
I've been warning y'all. I've been saying that this is not a coincidence. It's not an accident. It's called coercive control. I'm currently doing a 16-part series on coercive control and psychological abuse, according to the research from Dr. Claire Murphy. And this is actually a part of Tactic 3, which is unrealistic restrictions. It's not funny. It's not a joke. It is actual abuse, and it will escalate, as time goes along. It might start off little and something that you might consider, cute or whatever. But as time goes, it will continue to get more and more ridiculous as that person tries to have more control over your life and your decisions. So ladies, please watch out. These are red flags, and these are red flags that you need to pay attention to, because by the time you have a baby or you get married and now you're looking at that switch up, you have to go back and consider the fact that these things have been adding up and building up all along. Make sure you are paying attention before you get stuck.
If y'all want to know how to get a girl to just snitch on herself, just act like you don't judge when it comes to her morals. Like, whenever, if she's talking about her body count or whatever, act like you just don't, I feel like this shouldn't even have to be, I feel like this is common sense, but I'm telling you, just act like you could, I don't know how to explain it. Just be fake open-minded so she could just open up about the things that she does and has done and whatever. Just act like you're open-minded. And I'm telling you, she was snitching on herself. It's so insane. And then when she tells you all that, please, again, take it with a grain of salt, because there's probably things she didn't tell you still. It gets bad.
5 manipulation tactics men use to make you chase them. Pay close attention to this. Hot and cold behavior. One day he's all over you, the next day he's distant. It creates addiction. You start chasing the high of his attention. He says he's busy, takes forever to reply, keeps you waiting. You're left wondering what he's doing, so you start doing more to prove you're worth his time. Number 3 is subtle negging disguised as jokes, and he teases your looks, your choices, your ambition just enough to make you insecure. You chase validation by trying to prove him wrong. Future faking with zero follow-through. He talks about trips, marriage, us in the future. You get emotionally invested, Fran, then he pulls back and you chase the promise. 5, making you compete for his affection. He mentions other women, likes their pictures, keeps options visible. You start overgiving to women. That's the trap. All 5 tactics have one goal: to flip the dynamic so you're the one pursuing. Yeah. While he stays comfortable and in control. If you feel like you're always proving yourself, always waiting, always explaining, always trying harder, that's not chemistry, but that's calculated manipulation.